Okay, here's an overview of the tools that I use for this job. I have a button-operated soldering gun, definitely one of my favorites I've bought so far. I have very thin gauge flux. It's very thin, so it's easy to apply. I just have a pair of these guys. Super small wire cutters for getting in the really small places. And then I have this, which is it's a Torx little screw thing. And the good thing about this is, it locks. You can switch that up. So yeah, not too many tools needed. It's an easy job. If you want to replace this board, this is going to be hundreds of dollars to do it if you buy a new one. But if you go ahead and do it yourself, you'll get all that bass back that you've been missing. Alright guys. Okay, this is the amplifier from a 2001 BMW 325 Ci with the Harman Kardon sound package. This is the amplifier for the subwoofer in the trunk, and mine wasn't working, so I decided to read a little bit on the blogs and found out that the reason most of them stopped working is because one of the main coils in this amplifier detaches itself from the main board. So I went ahead and I took it apart, and that was the case. It's easy to take off the car. There's just 4 mounting screws that it actually slides into a bracket, and they're all Torx screws. Once it's out, all you have to do is take this bracket off. This bracket mounts to, I believe it is, yeah, it mounts to this side, so it just sort of slides in there. Yeah, it slides in like this, so like it just goes like right in there underneath. And then these brackets mount to the subwoofer itself. Okay, so what I did was a temporary fix. Let's go ahead and pull this out. This sleeve right here, it just holds the board in the casings. Put that back in there. Okay. And this is the amp. So in the case with my subwoofer amp for the Harman Kardon system, this thing right here was completely not attached. So it was just like loose sliding around on top of the board. And the reason why that was the case is because down in here, you can see those 2 holes are for the wires to mount into. This was my temporary fix. I just went ahead and unwound the wires one time. I put them back through the hole, and then I glued the coil itself back onto the board. So I glued it back onto there with some it's just like a plastic adhesive type thing, and it does work. So I put it back in the car, and I was surprised, and it sounded great again. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish the job. So I'm just going to clip these. I'm just going to clip them, and I'm going to resolder them back to the board to make it an official fix. Okay, so I went ahead and I trimmed the end copper pieces down. So basically I just trim, and I made it a little more flush. I'm just going to throw some solder onto these and permanently reattach them to the board. So this is right after I soldered the board. I went ahead and applied a good amount to those areas that needed it, but I made sure not to put anywhere I would be connecting a different circuit. That's what you want to avoid when you solder these kind of boards. You don't want to get too much where you're touching other things that you shouldn't be touching. But yeah, besides that, it's looking pretty good, I'd say. So this is a success, and this coil is now properly reattached. Check that out. This thing right here is now fully soldered back to the board. You can tell it's not going anywhere, especially after the glue I put on there. So yeah, that's solid. But yeah, so I'm gonna plug it in the car and have that subwoofer working again. Fantastic.